Management just hired a Six Sigma black belt, so we gotta be on our A game here. Six Sigma, capital S-I-X, space, capital S-I-G-M-A. Six Sigma. You can write Six Sigma in different ways. I've seen it written in different ways. You could have the lowercase word 6 and the lowercase word sigma. You could have the number 6 written out right next to the Greek lowercase letter sigma. And if you recall, that lowercase letter looks like a little O with a hat on it. All of that might not matter because there is actually an official way of writing it, and it is Six Sigma, two separate words with capital S's, and that's trademarked by the Motorola Corporation because that's where it came from. In the 80s, Motorola engineers came up with that phrase Six Sigma, and they started creating this process of getting rid of defects in your products and in your processes, and also reducing variability in your products and your processes. That's what Six Sigma is. It's this way of reducing defects and reducing variability in what you do in your business. I actually saw it a little bit in one of my older jobs, especially in manufacturing. We used to manufacture these implants. And of course, when you shove something in somebody's body, you don't want a bunch of defects in it. That would be bad. And so there are many fancy ways of trying to reduce defects and reduce variability in your product. And Six Sigma is one of them. But the whole idea was you need to think about your time, your people, and your processes. You should all the time be thinking of ways to reduce your defects and reduce variability. All your people have to be involved in reducing defects and variability. So that doesn't just mean, the welder in your manufacturing plant. It should also be your CEO and your management thinking about this. And then finally, you have to think about all of your process. You think about every step along the way of making this implant, from the initial sourcing of the metals all the way down to manufacturing, and every single step has to be able to be quantified and measured, and you should be able to judge these processes and control them. That's what it means to undergo a Six Sigma process for engineers. There's a lot more details. You might recall that sigma, that Greek letter sigma, is a reference to statistics, because in statistics, sigma represents standard deviation, and standard deviation is a measure of variability. All right, let's dig deeper into this etymology here. Let's just use an example. If I am part of an engineering firm that's manufacturing implants, let's just say there's a specification that my implant must be between 500 grams in mass and 510 grams in mass. Let's just make that up. Okay, that's our spec, that's our goal, but what happens when we really make 100 of these things? We can go measure 100 of these implants and see what happened in actuality. Maybe in real life, our implants were 501 grams and 502 grams and 509 grams. And there even were a few that were 512 grams and maybe one that was 488 grams. Hopefully, there weren't a lot of those defects outside of our spec. But the idea is if you have a whole bunch of these measurements of our product, you can take an average or a mean measurement. And you can also take the standard deviation of these measurements. I mean, you've got a distribution here. Take the mean and standard deviation. And if you go 6 standard deviations above or below our actual mean, hopefully, we are still within our desired specification. 6 standard deviations above and below, and we're still within spec. That must mean that we have really low variability. The only way that's going to be possible is if most of our products are, smack dab around 505 grams. That is what Six Sigma is all about. It's about reducing that variability and our defects so much that we're really within our specifications. There's also a whole bunch of other jargon that is attached to Six Sigma. The idea of black belts, it can seem ridiculous, but the idea is there are always people in an organization that know about Six Sigma principles, and they can train other people to follow those principles. If you want to get certified, go ahead. This is our engineering term of the day, Six Sigma. Hey, it's Pius, your host of Engineering Word of the Day. If you like this podcast and you like engineering and education, you should also listen to the longer sister podcast of this one. It's called the K-12 Engineering Education Podcast. You can learn all about it at k12engineering.net. Thanks.